Through the very first idea of creation, exactly 40,353,607 different human races in originally 343 skin colors were created in our Dern universe, which is a twin universe to another universe, the Dal universe. As a result of the union or merging of races, already more than many billions of races exist in the universe. Our Milky Way alone is inhabited by about 7.5 million different human civilizations, which does not count all other life forms, for example, the countless plant and animal forms, that is to say, beings, which also evolve and develop intelligence. I want to show you the poster about this. An overview. There is the beginning with creation, our universe, which is called the Dern universe. The parallel universe is called the Dal universe. And here, in our Dern universe, 40 million original human races have been created by creation with 343 skin colors.
Durch die Schöpfung kreiert worden in 343 Hautfarben. In unserer Galaxie Milchstraße zum Beispiel.
Here you can read that in our galaxy, the Milky Way, about 7.5 million different human civilizations exist. 646 billion years ago, the origin of our Earth resulted through the first concentration of gases. The beginning of the densification process, as is still occurring with Jupiter today, began 46 billion years ago.
Der Jupiter heute sich weiterhin verdichtet, begann vor 46 Milliarden Jahren. Vor rund 5 Milliarden Jahren.
About 5 billion years ago, Earth had become a solid planet, and the first primitive life developed in the form of primeval cells and so forth.
Fester Planet geworden. Der Entwicklungsvorgang des reinen Erdenmenschen.
The process of development of the pure Earth human, that is to say, his coming into being, can be classified into three principal phases when it concerns a physically recognizable human, as for example, 8.5 to 6 million years ago, 4.8 to 4.5, and 3.9 to 1.5 million years ago. Those are principal phases when we are talking about recognizable human beings, and one of those first phases died off. You cannot see an exact point of time. There are only periods, as for example, 9 to 12 million years ago when the first human beings appeared, which is not listed here.
Als die ersten Menschen in Erscheinung getreten sind.
Later humans appeared 1.5 million years ago, and about 4.5 million years ago the human beings developed reason and understanding, and 500,000 years ago tools and so forth.
Und erst vor 500.000 Jahren zum Beispiel Handwerkszeuge und so weiter.
What do you say to the claim that the human being descends from the apes?
Well, that man is supposed to have descended from the apes is an old deceitful claim by Charles Darwin. However, the deception was disclosed, but the false teaching had already been disseminated into the world. Darwin falsified skeletons and bones to produce proof of a link between the apes and the human being. But the reverse is true. The ape actually descended from the human being.
Zwischen Affe und Mensch. Es ist aber umgekehrt. Der Affe in dem Sinn stammt eigentlich in Wahrheit vom Menschen ab. Der Mensch.
The human being is a creation of creation, which caused the primates to be developed with the determination to become human.
Entstehen lassen mit der Bestimmung des Menschwerdens. Ursprünglich waren in der Entstehung ja die Primaten. Und aus diesen Primaten heraus.
Originally, there were the primates, which means primary beings, and from those primates the first human beings developed. And very early in that ape-like primate stage, the lineages of the human beings and the apes separated.
Getrennt von Mensch und Affe, so sind praktisch aus der Grundlinie der Bestimmung des Menschwerdens vom Primaten zum Mensch.
From this baseline of becoming human, from the primates to the human being, interim forms, the ape beings branched off. They did not become human. Rather, they only kept their instinct consciousness, while the human beings continued in their evolution and were able to build up their forms of consciousness, and thus they arose as complete human beings in different stages. For example, 3, 4, 6, 8, and 12 million years ago.
In verschiedenen Stadien eben als fertiger Mensch aufgetaucht, so zum Beispiel vor 3, 4, 6, 8 und 12 Millionen Jahren.
Our universe came into being through the Big Bang more than 46 trillion years ago. The first line-structured matter began to condense or become solid into a swirling, transparent, and non-tangible mass.
Wurde fest wabernde, durchscheinende und nicht greifbare Masse.
The first known solid matter originated about 40 trillion years ago in the universe. Over 39 trillion years ago, the first hominid life forms were created.
Vor über 39 Billionen Jahren werden die ersten hominiden Lebensformen im Universum kreiert.
Here you see again the drawing of the origin of the universe with the Big Bang and creation in the Big Bang, and creation consisting of 7 belts. One of those is the material belt in which we live.
Wir leben.
Was verstehen wir unter dem Begriff?
How are we to understand the term creation?
Actually, creation is the biggest thing a human being can imagine. It is the highest form of energy, the highest form of wisdom that exists in our universe.
Die Weisheitsform, die es im Universum überhaupt gibt. Warum Billy der Einzige ist, der
The reason why Billy is the sole person who has contact with the Plejaren has to do with the fact that he is the founder of the mission which began in the universe in ancient times. His mission began more than 86 billion years ago through the lineage of prophets Nokodemian Henoch, which continues until today to Billy. Nokodemian appeared repeatedly, also 12 billion years ago, when the mission began once again, and then several times as different incarnated individuals named Henoch, then from 400,000 years ago on Earth, and then again, and then also as Henoch, and then through the series of 7 up to Billy.
dann zu Henoch und auch als Henoch auf der Erde und dann durch eine 7er Reihe durch bis zu Billy Meyer. Billy Meyer ist der letzte.
Billy Meyer is the last prophet who is responsible for terrestrial humanity, and he is the last in this line of 7 which began with Henoch about 11,000 years ago and continued with Elijah about 2,800 years ago, and then Isaiah, Jeremiah, and Emmanuel about 2,000 years ago, then Muhammad about 1,400 years ago.
Mit Jesaja und dann mit Jeremia, dann mit Immanuel vor rund 2000 Jahren, dann mit Mohammed vor ungefähr 1000.
And today, in the New Age, the so-called Age of Aquarius, the mission finds its conclusion here on Earth with the prophet Billy, who is responsible for terrestrial mankind.
Als Prophet zuständig Billy Meyer für die irdische Menschheit. Mittels ihrer
By using their highly sophisticated technology, the Plejaren can travel through space and time by using transmission or hypertechnology, and they can travel in null time to any place in the universe, even into the past.
in das andere reisen. So auch in die Vergangenheit. Eigentliche Götter der Religion.
The gods of the religions do not exist. That is all fantasy invented by the cult religions. In according with an ancient term Ishwish, God means king of wisdom, and he is a human being just as all of us are. But he has a greater amount of knowledge and wisdom.
Jeder andere auch, und der ist eigentlich nur höher gebildet in Wissen und Weisheit. Früher in der Vergangenheit
In ancient times, there were also scientists who set themselves up as gods, and also other extraterrestrials who visited Earth at various times and also partly presented themselves as gods in order to force the Earth humans under their thumbs.
Erdenmenschen unter ihre Fuchtel zu zwingen. Auf der Erde heute haben wir eigentlich
On Earth, we have the remnants of 5 different humankinds who are of extraterrestrial origin. We have, for example, immigrants from Mars, from Malona, and from the space-time shifted Lyra and Vega systems, and also from the Sirius regions.
Zeit verschoben und auch aus den Siriusgebieten. Was die Japaner
Concerning the Japanese and Chinese, they are the youngest and most recent immigrants and first came to Earth from the Kudra system over 2.5 million years ago, and then around 26,000 years ago as the Kinten and Dnieper, from which today's Chinese and Japanese people developed.
Daraus ist eigentlich das heutige Chinesen- und Japanervolk hat sich dadurch entwickelt. Die Venus wurde durch den Komet Zerstörer vor rund 3.
Venus was pulled past the Earth by the Destroyer comet about 3,500 years ago, which triggered a great catastrophe. Through that, Minor Atlantis in today's Aegean Sea was also destroyed, that is to say, Santorini, where the volcano and everything exploded into the sea.
Wo dann der Vulkan und alles explodiert ist im Meer drin.
Will this destroyer comet come again?
No, as far as I know, it has been brought onto a new course by the Plejaren and will not be able to damage Earth again.
Meines Wissens umgeleitet, sodass keinen Schaden mehr anrichten kann auf der Erde durch eine Wiederkehr. Nach den Naturgesetzen bzw. nach den Schöpfungsgesetzen.
According to nature's laws, that is to say creation's laws, the human being lives with a physical body for about 60 to 80 million years. With help from the developed comprehensive consciousness block, his spirit incarnated again and again in order to learn. The human being builds a new personality in each life. And as I said, this process in a material body lasts for 60 to 80 million years.
Der Prozess ist, wie gesagt, eben als materieller Körper den Zeitraum von 40 bis 60 Millionen Jahren. Nächster Entwicklungs
The next development phase of a half-material nature lasts for The next development phase of a half-material nature lasts for 60 to 80 billion years, and then is followed by the first pure spirit level, which continues for at least another 60 to 80 billion years, and continues further until the spirit form returns to creation, from whence it originally came.
bis zurück zur Schöpfung, praktisch dort, wo der Geist eigentlich ursprünglich herkam.